Hello class. This is the introduction to the final battle. And by final battle, I mean final program for the semester as well. So it is the final battle. In Java 1, I call it the final loop. And now it's the final battle. So if you remember up to this point, previously we had programs where we had enemies battle each other. We've done programs where we walked around a map. Got to take in the sights, so to speak, all text-based, of course, but Uh, the ideas could certainly be applied to uh, physical things you could see if you really wanted to. This program is going to be similar to what we kind of created in class. Both things, as a matter of fact. It's going to be kind of a combination of the last project and the one we went over before. So, in the previous project, as of this video, what we went over was uh, arena battle. Two objects battled it out to see who would win. Uh, and another project we went over was called Walkabout or something along the lines of that, where you walked around a map that we customized and made, basically, a little text-based map. Now, what this is going to do is combine those two. We have a few constraints. The game must have one main character that you are moving around the map. That's kind of like we look back at my Hamburger Helper and Pillsbury Doughboy. Pillsbury Doughboy would be the, you know, champion if he's fighting Hamburger Helper. But it could be anything you want. Spaceships. Maybe you're flying around in space. Heroes, chickens, you know. They must have 4 attacks and 1 recovery method. If you remember, my project had a heal method in it. And you've seen 2 or 3 attacks before. Adding a couple more methods wouldn't be that big of a deal. Now there must be 2 different enemies you can encounter. That means there will be 2 separate objects. Not one object created two times named differently, like 2 separate objects. Uh, they can be anything that fits the theme of your game. You know, enemy 1 will be your basic enemy, and it will have basic stats, basic attacks. You know, if you have 100 health, maybe it has 50. The boss will be a boss. Uh, elevated health, 3 attacks, along with 1 strong. That's more damage attack. You can give it a recovery method if you want, up to you. The enemy boss, or the boss enemy will be less likely to appear, let's say 20%. The regular enemy will appear 80% of the time for a normal enemy. Random number generator can be used to accomplish this pretty much for, you know, if I make a random number generator that goes 0, 1, 2, or 3, for example, or in this case 4. Uh, if 0, 1, 2, or 3 are chosen, basic enemy. If 4 is chosen, then boss fight. That would put it at 80-20. So 4 numbers mean basic enemy, whereas that last number means a boss. Since there's a pretty even distribution here of which number is going to roll, then you have a pretty set 80-20% chance there. Random number generators. Now, the map is going to look like this, and you notice that's a bit more complex than the one we built. The one we built is really simple previously. It just had 4 rooms that we could just walk around kind of in a circle. This one, a lot more complex. Now, let me take a little example here for you. Let's say, you just copy that real quick. This is what you had before. And if you remember, we hard coded everything. There actually are several ways to approach this where you're not typing so much, but which I've discussed before. But this is what we had before. And if you want to do it this way, uh, the easiest, simplest way, you could use a single dimensional array and just print them as they should be. You can use a 2-dimensional array like this. And if I'm in this room, I try to go west, just say you can't, instead of moving me over there. You can't go that way. Uh, Fairly simple, and actually perhaps those should be O's or something. It doesn't really matter what you represent them at. You don't even have to print those. like that if you don't want. Entirely up to you. But as you can see, it's a bit bigger than the other one. But you can make a two-dimensional array with this and just not use the if statements. If I want to go here and go north or south, I can't. Just write an if that says if you're here and you type in north, you can't go. South, you can't go. And then we just can go right, can go left. You have to write out the ifs for each of those. And again, there are some more mathematical ways to tweak and mess with that, so you don't have to write a whole myriad of ifs. If you do the longest way, though, you will have to write a lot of ifs. If you remember our walkabout project that we did before, I had this move method that, just for 4 rooms, was a lot of setup. But everything was pretty much in this move. I didn't have to do much in the main at all. And the same is true for this. You basically can make your map and encompass all the moving and everything into that. There's really no difference. The room descriptions can fit whatever theme you want. Again, you get to pick. You should be able to go north, south, east, west, and quit the game. If you die, the game ends and tells you that you've died. You have died of dysentery. Welcome to the Oregon Trail. Now try to think of more efficient ways to write it than what we've done in class. I point out several things like patterns, moving up and down. A good example of that would be 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, right? 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 2. If I go down, well, what increases? That one number increases. If I go to the right, that one number increases. If I go to the left, that one number decreases. If I go up, that other number decreases. There are ways to move you around and basically do this in a lot less work if you really wanted to. Now, this is your project. And again, it's going to be basically a combination of a couple of programs we did. So this is less making it from scratch and more, using your imagination to put things together and make something, new with the combination of the two. Everything you're being asked to do here, you have done already in class if you've done the projects. If you've gone over the projects, if you had trouble with them or whatever. We have done the battle. We have done the moving around. The only difference is now when you move around, there's a chance for an enemy to attack. And then you'd have to account for that and run the battle method, which you could easily add either in the main, or you could make a whole object called battle if you wanted to, where it happens there. There's a couple of different ways to approach it, just depends on what you want to do. Now, if you have any questions or anything like that, feel free to ask away. Otherwise, good luck.